The Arizona Coyotes are kind of built different at Mullett Arena, I gotta say. Coyotes take down the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche and advance to a 6-3-2 record at Mullett Arena. Who would have thought? No holiday hangover for these guys. Maybe a little bit of one for us. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm here with Steve Peters. Craig Morgan will be joining shortly from Mullett Arena, and Petey, the puzzle has already been spotted.
Petey's puzzle's out, and Steve would be all over it. It's an indoor cabin with a beautiful lake in the background and puppies and cats. So that's puzzle number one. There will be more. We started number two. And Leah, I know Colorado had injuries. I know they did. I get that. And they're missing 7 players right now. But we keep saying, oh, it's going to be the road trip. The Coyotes will finally start losing. Oh, yeah, but when they get to the next stretch of the road trip, they'll start losing. Yeah, but you see this homestand? Colorado, Toronto, they'll start losing then. And guess what? They just keep winning. I'm not so sure. Like, I know the plan. I know it's not the plan. And every time we think it's going to get to go on the plan, they win again. This was another good effort by them, though, and it was not one that they needed the goaltender to carry them through. I think this was a really good team effort, and I thought they were good from the beginning at the drop of the puck. And I thought that was the key, is they had a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat from Vaguely Sober, which we learned yesterday is a DNVR Avalanche fan. Says DNVR, good game, Desert Dog Bros. Thank you so much, Vaguely Sober.
That's really nice
for your super chat and for checking into our post-game show as opposed to I'm sure you're on your way over to the DNVR Avs post-game show. But PD, for the sake of this conversation, because I'm sure we'll have it when Craig gets here, let's set aside and let's talk about the game for the game, because what a game it was. I mean, that first period, the Coyotes looked really good. Like from the first 10 seconds.
For sure. And you look at Carcone getting a breakaway to start the game on a hell of a pass by Minnesota named Nick Bukestad. But I tell you what, this team skated well. They possessed the puck well. They didn't turn the puck over like they have in the past. I tell you what, this is a different team at the Mullett. They look really sharp at the Mullett. And I feel bad for Connor Ingram because he hasn't had run support when he's played, and he always seems to be in those tough games. And tonight you go, he's going to be coming off Christmas break, no practice. It's going to be another tough Connor Ingram game. And I tell you what, this team came out to play, and they showed up. I thought they were good. I thought they showed their speed and their ability to get to the net. They got pucks to the net for the first time in a long time. They outshot an opponent for the first time in a long time. They had over 30 shots for the first time in a long time. There were just so many offensive good things in this game. This is a big win. I know they're injury depleted. There's still some really good players out there, including Cale Makar and Mikko Rantanen. And those are 2 really good hockey players. This is a good hockey team. And they were playing their number 1 goaltender against the Yotes. And I thought the Yotes looked fantastic. It was a really good, solid team game for the Arizona Coyotes.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into the numbers on this one, because like you already mentioned, you ran through a couple of those successes tonight, but the Coyotes outshot their opponent, I think, for just the 4th time now this season, 33-29 shots on goal. And Colorado is not a team that lacks offense, obviously. Like you mentioned, lots of injuries, but still a lot of firepower for them. Coyotes had success on the power play, 1 for 3. I can't even believe Colorado only had 1 power play now that I think about it. And then a lot of physicality in this game as well. 16 blocks for the Coyotes, 8 for Colorado. There were also quite a few big hits in this game as well. But PD, where do you want to begin?
Well, we already talked about the shots, so I think we got that one covered. The power play was interesting to me because I thought 2 things. The Coyote power play, I thought they had a zipping tonight. Like, that puck was firing around, and when they put, they were trying to get that play into Ritchie in the inside. But I tell you what, the goal they did score from Chychrun to Schmaltz to Ritchie off a shin pad right to Schmaltz, able to bury that puck. They moved the puck extremely well in the power play. So the power play going 1 for 3 is fantastic. On the other side, that just shows you can't put this team, the Colorado Avalanche, on the power play. And as soon as you get, again, Fish is going to have to watch this because I know we're a big Fish fan here, but he's got to stop taking those offensive zone penalties. And I know he's aggressive and ultra aggressive in the offensive zone. He's just trying to forecheck and do the right thing, but he has taken too many offensive zone penalties. He can't put his team shorthanded 200 feet from their net. He's going to have to learn to back it off and get a stick out of there. So that was one of the things you saw. They got on the power play and bing, bang, it's in the net. And I think with Makar running the top and Girard, and they still have Rantanen, that's still a really good power play. So for the first time, this team only took one penalty. So boy, that's another thing, step in the right direction. It's a problem they've had from day one, is taking too many penalties. And today with one, I know Avs were 1-for-1, but thank goodness there weren't more. So that again, there were so many little factors to make this thing work tonight for the Coyotes, and this is why they were able to get a win. And one of those was staying out of the penalty box. So good on them. I tell you what, I don't know if this is starting to be a little home ice advantage. I don't know if Mullett's going to be a tough place to play. It's starting to look like it.
Yeah, and it's cool because we had Jesse Montano and Megan Angley from DNVR Avalanche on our live show yesterday, and they were super excited to see Mullett Arena. So I was checking up on their social media all night long, and both of them loved it. And one of the things Jesse said was because of the venue size, every fan was super engaged in the game because it's all so close. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective, I guess, that I never thought about it. We talk about the home ice advantage, we talk about the atmosphere, but it is a good point that because it's so small, it's easier almost to focus on the game. And even though, there were quite a few Avalanche fans there as well, another great atmosphere tonight. We've already heard about how amazing the ice is, and the Coyotes had the advantage today of coming off the 3-day holiday break, not having to travel anywhere. Colorado practiced in Colorado today, then got on a plane and flew an hour and 45 minutes to get here. So, things just kind of fell, I guess, in the Coyotes' favor today, but not just in their favor. They worked hard for this win and they earned it, frankly.
Yeah, and it's tough. And I know they talked a lot about it on the Bally's broadcast, and Tyson Nash mentioned, hey, that even in Colorado, it's the farthest airport from the city. It's 45 minutes from downtown Denver. So you don't just talk about the flight time, you talk about the drive time, and the weather is different, and it's hard. And you get here, you land, and now what? They go check into the hotel right away, and you hope you can get a quick 30-minute nap and team meal, but it's not the same routine, and it's really hard. And I know the league needs to give those guys 3 days off, but making them travel on game day is tough too. So they had the advantage, and you know what? They used it, and they had their feet moving in the first 10 seconds. And Tourney said that one of their goals was to get off to a fast start, and I thought they did that. And it felt like Colorado was chasing the game. And I'll admit, even the last 10 minutes, I said, Colorado's going to come back in this one. But
boy, howdy.
A couple of moves. Well, do you see him? He just makes a few moves, and it's just like, he's so much better than everyone. And you go, he's just going to put the team on his back, and they're going to come out, and they're going to win, and it's going to go to overtime again. And the Coyotes fought it off. And Ingram made a couple of huge saves, and they defended well. I think all around, this might be one of the better team games. And again, I keep saying it against a depleted Colorado team. I know this is not the Colorado Avalanche that won the Stanley Cup. Nichushkin, Byron McKinnon, Landeskog, Manson. I mean, the list goes on. So they beat a team that was depleted, that they needed to be at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And Robert Lee in the chat said, one of the most exciting games in memory. I've been going since 2012. And I think I saw either a tweet or a comment in our Discord, like, this might be the best game I've been to. And that's just what I keep thinking about. Like, if you're spending money to go to these games, and we say this all the time, the Coyotes fans and the Coyotes players and coaching staff, like, they don't give a shit about the tank. Like, they want to win. So for the team to do what they did tonight, and we'll get into the specifics here in just a minute, it was quite a feat. And before we dive into it, Petey, I do want to go over your keys, because as always, you were right on it with your keys to the game.
Mary Schmaltz. How about Mary Schmaltz after he's on
Tis the season.
Game. A 6-game point streak, a big goal off the power play today, slowed on the Avs. There were times when this team looked fast, but if you go back to the playoffs last year, they looked fast for 60 minutes. They didn't have that same jump tonight. They just didn't. There were moments, but when they had those moments, Coyotes were back checking, holding the line, and Ingram to make a save. It just wasn't the same speed that this team normally had. I don't know if it was much of the Coyotes defending it as the Avs just didn't have it tonight. Stop Mikko. They stopped him with an offside call, and that seemed to help. But he eventually, I think he just scores. Like Landeskog just scores. And I tell you, he's got, 9 and 9, or it might be 10 and 10 now. He's on fire. So I think they got 2 of the 3 keys. We'll give them the Mikko key, and 2 of 3 is good enough for a Coyotes win.
Absolutely. We have a super chat from Pat O, $4.99. Thank you so much, Pat. Said, really appreciate these post-game shows. Makes for some late nights for you both and Craig, but it's how you build community. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Pat. That really means a lot to us. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who joins us in the live chat after a win, after a loss, at 10 o'clock or midnight. We do appreciate you. And for those watching, I see all 70 of you right now. Hit that like button on this YouTube video while we're here. And for the slander about my Christmas tree still being up, I feel like New Year's is the limit. Just saying.
There was a discussion at the Peters household whether we should take them down on Christmas night at 5. They almost came down at Christmas Day at 5. It's over. It's 5. It's done. So they did make it up till they did come down the 26th at 9 a.m. And I mean, everybody was hands on, and they were down and in the garage, and Christmas was over. But with this game, it's funny because there's some original OGs in here. I mean, Charles is here. I think Karen was at the game, so she didn't see it, but Debug Ag, some originals that every night we'd come into this post-game show and say, oh, another loss. This team sucks. Let's spin the wheel of fantasy and pack therapy. And honestly, it just hasn't happened this year.
I know.
Even the games they're losing, they lose in tight games. Only 2 games got out of hand.
I know. And
unbelievable.
I tuned in our first intermission. I tuned into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game show. They lost 3-0. And they had the exact same energy that we did last season. Like, I feel they were like, oh yeah, you know, and I know we talk about like Bedard and Fantilli every single show, but they were talking about that. They were talking about building blocks for the future. They were talking about, oh, there's really like, why evaluate the power play when like this isn't even gonna be the power play in 5 years. Like that was us last year, but this has been a lot more fun. It certainly has, maybe a little bit concerning, but a lot more fun. So what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna talk about some of the performances tonight.
That's what I was gonna say. Let's get into it. You go first.
Well, no, one of the guys that's kind of an unsung guy, and I know he takes a lot of heat, sometimes here, sometimes in the Discord, is Travis Boyd. And he's a guy that he's around it on the power play, and you're going, gosh, he should have had 2 or 3 tonight. Like, he was around it. But if you go back and look at a couple of the goals that were scored, they're not scored unless Boyd's in front of them at screening. And it starts right with the ghost Keller Schmaltz. Boyd gets in the screen, which makes the difference there. And he also gets a screen on the Mosher goal.
Yeah, so, and that wouldn't have gone in without it because it wasn't a super hard shot.
No, so you got to give hats off to him. Even though he doesn't end up on the score sheet with assist, he is getting to the front of them, and he's doing the job he's paid to do. So good on him. And then I tell you what, there's some guys that were all over the score sheet. Like we talked about Mary Schmaltz, but the 3 C's, I was going to say vitamin C or 3 C. I couldn't say it's kind of hokey.
The 3 C's of Arizona.
Yes. Carcone, Chychrun, Crouse. I know. I just drew that blank. But they were all over it tonight. And I tell you, that goal by Crouse coming out of the corner, that was
God.
Makar and Devon Taves. That's their number 1 D pair. And he lit them up.
That was unbelievable. Like, that was one of the best goals he scored all year. And let's stick on Crouse for a second, just because we're talking about him. That was his 14th goal of the season, Petey.
I know, we're 33 games and he's got 14.
That's unbelievable.
30 is not out of reach for him.
No.
I mean, we talked when we had him on in the preseason, he was talking 30. 30 is within reach for sure. It's a reasonable number. And I tell you what, it's back and forth between him and Keller. And I told you they're going to get that little battle going where, he got one, so I got to get one. And so Keller ends up getting the empty netter, and he adds one to his total. I thought Crouse played a real complete game today. I think he was all around it, and the puck was on his stick, and he was that physical presence of him. He's not a guy that we've said this before. He's not going to put you through the boards, but his ability to be a strong player on the puck, to get away from a car, that's the kind of physicality you're going to see out of Lawson Crouse. So I thought he was fantastic tonight. He was one of the best players on the ice for me.
Absolutely. Another player with 3 points tonight was Jakob Chychrun. His 3 assists tonight was a single game career high. He has 16 points in 17 games, I think, since his return to the lineup, unless he added a 17th. I don't even remember when I wrote that note down, but still, he's been absolutely dominant since he's been back in the lineup. Exactly what you want to see from him, continuing to add to this team's offense.
And I think for him, there's a couple things. We keep saying that he wants to do this and get back to where he was 2 years ago. For me, this was extra special for him because he sees himself as an elite defenseman in this league. He does. And a couple of years ago, he was in the Norris conversation with his points. And I know he doesn't get to be one of the nominees, but he's still around it. And last year, he struggled through the season. So when he gets on the ice with Cale Makar, he knows Cale Makar is on the other end of the ice. Of course he does. And he goes, hey, I am that good. I can play. And so it ends up, you look at the stat line, he's plus 2, 3 points, 24 minutes. He had 7 shot attempts, 3 hits, and his stat line, and believe me, I'm not saying Chychrun's better than Cale Makar. I'm not. But his stat line is tonight. And,
that's crazy.
-1. He ends up -1. He has 1 hit, and he only has 4 shot attempts. So I'm sure that was part of what Chychrun did. And there was once where they had a head-to-head battle, and Chychrun walled him off, pushed him into the corner and said, no, not against me or not. And I think that gave him a little bit more motivation tonight, and it showed. I keep saying it. Chychrun is doing everything that's been asked of him, and somebody is going to come knocking for him soon, because this kind of a performance, when you're putting up those many minutes, that kind of offensive output, and still able to be physical, somebody's going to come get him. I'm telling you. I know Craig keeps saying that it's not now, but it's coming.
I like cat? Yes, it's my cat. I'm so sorry. She really wants to add she wants to add her 2 cents to the conversation. I like this comment from Jeffrey. Trade bait had an excellent game. Made second star. I love it.
He was fantastic. That's 2 C's. We got a 3rd C.
Then we got Michael Carcone making his season debut with the Arizona Coyotes. First of all, Michael Carcone leading Tucson in all categories, 16 goals, 26 assists, 42 points, with Tucson leading the American Hockey League in points, which is like an unbelievable feat for especially a guy of his stature. Comes up within the first 10 seconds of the game, has a breakaway chance, shot on goal right away. You knew he was hungry for one. And then when you saw that little tic-tac-toe move there, and I believe it was in the 3rd period, that was just absolutely unbelievable. And I'm so glad he got one tonight. He absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, and he fit in right where Michelli left off. I mean, those two played on a line together last year in Tucson, and they were electric offensively when they were together. And I tell you what, he just stepped right into Michelli's line on the 5-on-5. He stepped into Michelli's spot on the power play, and this team did not miss a beat. He was, for a guy that hasn't played in the NHL all season, you wouldn't have been able to tell, because his foot speed was there. His puck possession time was there. I thought he made some really good plays. He fit right in. And here's a guy that deserves this opportunity, as you said, leading the American League. And that's incredible for the Tucson Roadrunners, and they're having a great year. So I was really happy for Carcone. He's earned it. I mean, he's a leader down there, does everything right. And he didn't bitch and complain that he wasn't up here at the beginning of the season. He said, I mean, we had him on the show, and he said, no, good for Michelli. Great for him. I'm happy for him. That's what a leader does. And that's what a leader says. And it's just a matter of time. And now it's going to be 6 weeks of this. His job now, Leah, is to take this 6 weeks and go, you can't send me down. Like, he has to do this. Okay, this is one night of this. He has to have 6 weeks of this. So at the end of that 6 weeks, go, okay, try to send me down. I've got 6 goals. I've got 4 assists. I'm playing on your power play. You're going to have to find a way to keep me here. And that's what he has to do. It's up to him. And that make it hard on them to send him back down. So I was really happy to see him have the game that he had tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt like there were a few times this season when they made call-ups that, Coyotes fans who pay attention to at least the Roadrunners stats, that why isn't Carcone getting called up? But, you want a player to fill a certain role. And with Michelli going down, which as unfortunate as that is, we've been kind of mentioning him loosely in the Calder race. I mean, he was second in rookie points, but you needed to fill that skill position. And Carcone almost slid perfectly right in there. And I was glad that he had that opportunity to be on that Crouse-Bukestad line, like to just slide right into Michelli's spot rather than coming up and being on the bottom six and maybe in a different kind of role for that skilled player that he is and has been in the AHL. So like you said, I hope that this continues for him. And that being said, we've talked about the 3 C's. We have a little bit of a special one tonight. It's time to crown our draft. Oh my gosh, my cat.
On fire.
On fire. Oh my Lord. Let's crown tonight's DraftKings Kings of the game. And in honor of Christmas, it's the 3 Kings. We got 1 call-up, 2 goals, 5 assists among these 3 guys. Absolutely unbelievable night from the 3 Kings, the 3 C's of the Arizona Coyotes. You absolutely love to see it. They are tonight's DraftKings Kings of the game. And if you put money on anytime goal scorer for any of these guys or a number of other things, Sean sent us a lengthy bet slip earlier. Very lengthy. But you know what? He crushed it tonight. I think he hit the majority of his bets. Absolutely on fire. Shout out Petey for some of the recommendations on that one. What a night, by the way, with both the Coyotes and the Suns winning. Things you love to see. And if you want to win yourself some money over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can do that too. So download it now, sign up with the promo code PHNX, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code PHNX. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm laughing at Casey Cheatham, DNVR. He's bitter DNVR guy. And I just, when he said he's a bitter DNVR guy, and I'm thrilled that he jumped over to us right
Thank
now.
you. Thank you for tuning in.
But what made me think of that, because we all know the DNVR guys. And I could just think of, for AJ and Rudo right now, how much bitching they must be doing and what the negative show they must be having right now, compared to how positive we are today. And I know. Can't say that.
Well,
so thanks, Casey. I'm sorry you're not.
Vaguely Sober said they're not bitter. So, we got both spectrums of Avs fans, but for the ones who maybe need to take the edge off tonight, let me recommend some OG's gummies. I think we should at least and host just for at least dealing with all the injuries they've been dealing with. If you want to check out OG's, you can find them at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to enjoy, but check them out. Great flavors, locally scratch made. We love them. They have all sorts of kinds, microdose, sleep edition, indica, sativa. Check them out. And now
it's time.
It's time to bring in the 4th C of Arizona.
Wow. Look what you did there.
Craig.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Craig's in a different corner.
Yeah, I changed it up on you tonight. We found a different stairwell. We're learning this place. We're getting a feel for this place now.
Look at Craig taking the stairs.
I do think there are other people that are going to be learning this place on Thursday.
Oh, well.
We might have to drop in.
Oh, so you mean you guys are going to get out of your pajamas for the next game?
We might. I might have pajamas on.
Petey, what am I looking at behind you?
That's my puzzle.
Okay.
That's a puzzle. Puzzle number 1.
Very bright. It's almost psychedelic. Like you guys were talking about OGs. I was like, pop some OGs and look at that thing.
So, I don't know if you heard the OGs read, but she was like dealing. She used the word dealing and OGs. And then I said, Leah's dealing OGs.
Leah's a pusher. Leah is a pusher.
OGs.
What?
I don't know. I just heard dealing OGs. You think so.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Craig taking OGs from the office yesterday.
What?
That is true. That might be true. Jeez.
Oh man. Well, Craig, we've kind of given our, initial reactions. We've talked about, I know you were there watching our Kings of the game. So we've gone over all that. What are your kind of thoughts and takeaways from this one? And who did you speak with and what did they have to say?
Well, we talked to Michael Carcone, of course, because he scored tonight and he almost scored another goal, like right off the hop. He was in alone. He blended well. And it's interesting to me because you throw him on that line where Michelli has played. And I asked Lawson Crouse about it. He's the other person we talked to and said, how do you shift from playing with a guy like Matias Michelli, who never looks to shoot, to a guy like Michael Carcone, who's a shooter? He's a goal scorer. And he's like, actually, we spent a lot of time together in training camp. So we got a really good feel for each other. So it just felt like second nature. when he jumped in, and I knew he was going to be looking for the puck a little more than Matthias does. So it looked pretty good tonight, guys. I mean, listen, I don't know what you said about this game before I arrived, and I know that the Avs made some pushes later in the game. Honestly, to me, the Coyotes were the better team tonight. They early on in this game, they were outchancing the Avs badly, especially in the high danger areas. The Avs did get a push on. You usually see that when a team is laying back with a bit of a lead. But I thought the Coyotes were the better team, and Jared Bednar in his comments, he was not glowing about what he said about his team's performance tonight. He didn't like many players' performances. I don't blame him because I thought the Avs looked really, really sloppy tonight.
Yeah, it's hard though, Craig. And we talked about them traveling today and coming off the 3-day break, and they'd won 3 in a row coming into this, and they got all these injuries. But this is still a team that did not play quick enough. They did not play fast enough. And you're absolutely right. This isn't the Colorado Avalanche team we were expecting.
20 of the first 24 on the road, buddy. Yeah. Oh, they had a tough travel day from Denver.
And we said it before too, but look at when Makar did have the puck, it was special. Like there were so many moments when he.
And that's the thing. Their blue line's together, right? Their blue line. Yeah. We saw their blue line. I know they're missing Nate McKinnon and Gabe Landeskog. Yeah. But I mean, enough with the excuses.
And that's the starting goalie in that too.
Yeah. He didn't look good either. So,
no, they were slow.
Leah's just reading comments.
Comments tonight are just unreal.
Part of them being slow, though, Craig, is what caused them to not get more power plays. If they're moving quicker and playing a faster game like they usually do, they're drawing more penalties, they get more chances on the power play. They get more chances on the power play, they might be able to score more. So I think all of that led to them being a slower team than they normally are. And thank God I'm not reading the comments because apparently they're out of control.
I can see Sean laughing too. Is the best part. You guys keep going. I'll just sit here.
Yeah. Wow. We need to get like a new meme, by the way. Leah the pusher. I think we should put it out there. Yeah, we should totally put it out there. She could have the cat right with her, right? Cat pushing catnip while Leah's offering.
This comment killed me. I saw Craig moving along the concourse at 5,000 meter world record speed. I'm not afraid of a hip replacement anymore. He was moving.
Wow.
Not like Robert. Robert's a runner, though. I know. See, that's Robert Lee. I know he's a runner. I couldn't keep up with Robert. Not a chance.
Oh, yeah. The miles he puts in. Insane.
Yes.
So, Craig, now what? Can they do it again on Thursday? Can they repeat the Mullett
Leafs?
Toronto?
Obviously. They're going to beat the Leafs.
I mean, go ahead and take that money line right now and lay it on that Arizona Coyotes.
So, by the way, did you check the standings? Are they in 27th now?
Okay, so we were waiting till you got here, Craig, to talk about this because we kind of just wanted to enjoy it and talk about all the positives from the game before we focus on the fact that this team is pretty good. 6-3-2 now at Mullett. This is their 12th win of the season. Solidly in 27th, and they are way above Chicago and Anaheim with games in hand.
Yeah.
Are we concerned? I feel like I ask this like once a week, but are we concerned?
Yeah, if you want a top 3 pick, you should be concerned at this point because they ain't catching the Blackhawks. They ain't catching the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are going to finish with the worst record in the league. Now it's just a matter of whether another team gets. Look, we know the odds, right? It's really good for the first, not really good, but it's higher for the first few teams, and then it drops off significantly as you move through the pecking order. You just don't want to fall too far, right? Like if they can stay maybe in like the 5th worst record, somewhere around there, you can still have hope of jumping up. But oh God, guys, God, if you've done what you've done with this roster to pick 6th or 7th in the draft.
Of all years.
Hey, this is better. Maybe this is better than like getting screwed in the lottery like they did with Edmonton jumping up and getting McDavid. This is a new chapter for the Coyotes. Now we're just not going to lose enough this time. We're just going to finish like with the 8th worst record.
Does it speak volumes to GM Bill Armstrong to say I'm trying to make this towards the bottom, and I'm such a good GM. I built such a good team. I can't.
It's the character as much as anything. Well, I mean, listen, there's some players 100%. That are coming along, but and those players also like a guy like Lawson Crouse. He's got 14 goals this season. Again, that contract when they signed it, I read the national media all the time, and there were literally people snickering about that, saying, "Are you kidding me? One season, Lawson Crouse, really? Yeah, Lawson Crouse. He's a hell of a player, and he is a guy who plays with a ton of character. They've got a bunch of guys like that, and they brought in more guys like your boy Nick Bukestad. I'm telling you, he is such a positive influence in this room. That may be Bill's failing. Like maybe he should, quite frankly, just get a couple assholes in here to tear up the locker room, make it a toxic locker room, because these guys like each other so much. They play for each other, and you've got a coaching staff that's working its ass off and doing some good things. And, listen, the Coyotes aren't a great team, but we see the result right now. They're not as bad as the plan had them being.
I just can't believe it, though. I just can't believe it when we sat down at the beginning of the season and looked at this roster and thought this team is worse than last year. There's absolutely no way in hell. And I know there's still like 50 games left, and who knows what will happen. And we'll get to a little bit more like who could possibly go at the trade deadline here in a second. But PD, I didn't want me to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, but you're right. And this is one of the fears that you have. And it's everybody's on the same page. It's that us against the world mentality. It's somebody different every night. They're all pulling the rope. I keep saying that, using that analogy, pulling the rope the same way. And tonight it's Crouse's turn with 3 points and Chychrun with 3 points. Tomorrow night it could be Schmaltz again, or it could be Gostisbehere. This team believes in themselves. They believe in each other. They're doing it for the guy sitting next to them. And winning is contagious. And I know that it's not the way. Do you think it's feeling like this in their locker room in Chicago right now? I mean, it's got to be absolute misery in their locker room right now. And once you get in that mode, when it's misery, it's hard to win, because it's no longer I'm playing for him. It's like, well, why the hell isn't he playing? What's that guy doing? And it starts to be getting adversarial. And once you get that, it gets off the rails. And it's just contagious. Losing is contagious, and so is winning. And the Coyotes have that belief, and they're doing it for each other. And you can see it in a game like tonight. They were just happy to be playing hockey. And I'm telling you, that's dangerous. I agree with you, Craig. There is no chance this team's getting last. Zero.
No.
And the 31st, I think that's pretty much getting out the window too. I think, 29th, 4th to last. Oh, even that right now, unless they upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do.
Well, and they're going to try, but the problem is the trade deadline is not until March 3rd. You almost hope some of these teams get ahead of the game and make their play. For Chychrun has 16 points in 17 games, and he has been many nights that I've watched since he came back. He's been the best player on the ice. He's been really good. Like I don't know what scouts are waiting for, if they still think that ask is too much, but man, Jakob Chychrun is really, really playing well. That's one guy. Shane Gostisbehere, that pairing. I mean,
He's someone we haven't talked about yet tonight, because he scored. It was his 9th goal of the season, his 25th point of the season. He started really hot, kind of quieted off, but he's been right back in the mix again. So he's a guy too that, I mean, it would suck, talking about just from a guy perspective. And I know he's well liked on this team, but if you want to start moving people to kind of ruffle this up, he's one.
I'm going to dive into this one a little more too, and PD doesn't want to hear this because it's about Boogie. I wonder if there is some value for him out there after all, especially when you start asking people within this organization. And I know there's a lot of that talk. Oh, he's great in the room. There's a lot of that. It gets used too much. This guy has a major influence in this room. And when you're talking about cohesion, team making a playoff run, that's a guy you want around. I don't know what his role is for a playoff team, so you're probably not going to get that high an asset, but maybe his value gets a little inflated with what he's done with this group. He's been such a big part of it, and you talk to the players in this room, they'll all tell you that. So I wonder about him as well. The other guys will have to wait and see, like a Nick Ritchie, who made a really nice play on the power play tonight, or the dark horse that we've talked about if some team comes with the right offer, Karel Vejmelka.
Wild. The Lebowski $5 super chat, thank you so much, said, I appreciate your perspective from the desert. A mid-season check-in with the CHGO crew would be cool. Chicago and Arizona are playing each other, I believe, on January 6th next. So we'll see kind of how that game goes. It would be interesting to do kind of a mid-season check-in. And Craig, I mentioned this earlier in the show, but I tuned into their post-game show tonight for 10 minutes or so, and their post-game show felt like us last season, just like exactly where we were in that helpless, hopeless bottom feeling. Difference is they're probably going to win the draft lottery somehow, some way, unlike the Coyotes, who are a cursed franchise.
Yeah, and they won 3 cups in the past decade, so Crimea River. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously.
seriously. That was in the back of my mind watching that the whole time. I was like,
Yeah, seriously. That between that and then, by the way, I'm going to keep reminding people of this because when the Blackhawks win the lottery right out of the Kyle Beach scandal, give me a break. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't whine about anything as a Blackhawk fan right now. You won 3 cups and they're all tainted by that gross thing that happened within your organization that was overlooked by far too many people. Get the Blackhawks out of the top 3. Drop them as far as possible.
I agree. This is an earlier comment, but Rick said, hey, next game you get to scout your future center. It's so true. If we want to talk about looking forward to the future.
Austin. Now I saw somebody in the chat say 34 is open.
That is the alternative. If you don't win the lottery, you just bring Austin Matthews home and hey.
Yeah, and I think that people be okay with that over the free. Yeah.
I think so.
We don't get the first pick, but we get Austin Matthews. Yeah.
Over the moon about that one.
Yeah. And it's funny. Somebody else said there's 2 different. I forgot. It was somebody talking about Jakob Chychrun in the room. Who said it? Blatantly Asinine did, I think, about Chychrun in the room. And they're saying, well, he hasn't won the AL year, and is he positive in the room? Well, I'm not in the room, and I won't say what happens in the room, but I will say this: if Leah came in here at the first show of the season and said, I don't want to work here. I don't want to work with these guys. I don't want to play here. I want to go work at DNVR. I really don't want to work at PHNX. How the hell do you think that would sit with me and Craig for the rest of the year? Probably not very good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with him in the first press conference of the year. Get me out of here. I don't want to be here. I want to play somewhere else. So I don't think that was well received by the guys that sat next to him.
Yeah, and you're not going to give a letter to someone like that. You're just not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I promise I didn't say that.
Yeah.
$4.99.
We could edit that though to make it sound like Leah did say that.
Yeah, we could just take that word out. I did not.
I said that. All right, $4.99 super chat from Steven said, always enjoy your content. Great way to stay up on Yotes Talk when I'm outside the AZ listening area. Thank you so much, Steven. We appreciate you immensely. If everybody who's listening, if you're not subscribed to PHNX Coyotes, wherever you get your podcasts, please do so. And while you're there, leave us a review, give it 5 stars if you will, because we also have audio only episodes that drop throughout the week. So you never want to miss those. The chat is really fun tonight, very active. So we appreciate everybody so much for being here. Craig, you were obviously at Mullett, you still are. And you tweeted that Curtis Joseph and Zbynek McCulloch were in the house tonight. Was there any reason or just for fun? I don't know why Cucho was here. I didn't talk to him, but Z lives here. But I didn't know he was in the arena until he tweeted a photo of me, like, hello, stalker. Like texted it to me saying, I was like, okay, it's kind of creepy. You're very easy to find at Mullett too.
Yeah, Z was here.
Follow the line of autograph seekers. And that's Craig at the end of it.
Yeah.
The red ropes.
The red rope, the Pellegrino.
Yeah.
Just
the red velvet chair with the crown on it, like the Game of Thrones crown. That's where Craig sits. The Game of Thrones.
The big chair.
No,
yeah,
not at
chair.
all. Not at all.
Bougie.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's cool to have those guys around, right? It's cool to have ex-Coyotes in the house.
Alumni. Craig, one guy we haven't talked about tonight is Connor Ingram. And we haven't spent any time on him. And it was really good to see him get another win this season because I think there's so many opportunities this year where they put him into bad games, bad situations. And tonight was another bad situation coming off a 3-day break. 2 questions for you. One, why is he after a 3-day break when you thought, gosh, Vejmelka's had that much rest? Well, I was kind
saving him for Toronto.
In a day out. So I didn't know if there's anything going on. I'm reading more into that. And what do you think about his performance?
Well, I mean, the first goal was what it was. That was a bad goal. Let's be honest. He saw
I was
it all
worried.
the way. It was a horrible goal, like a terrible goal. But he bounced back after that, and he was solid the rest of the game. So that's good. You know, it'd be nice if he could give up fewer than 3 goals in a game. You'd like to see that from your backup goaltender at some point. But okay, he scored 6 tonight, so it was plenty. Andre didn't explain why he went that route. It's usually a conversation with Corey Schwab, and maybe they wanted to get him some work. Maybe they're looking ahead to the work that Veggie's going to have. So I don't know. I'd only be speculating why they chose to play him tonight.
The 4 straight weeks of back-to-backs in January.
Yeah, there's that. You look at the schedule.
Yeah.
And there's, like you said, Leah, Toronto too. I mean, you got to have Veg play against Toronto because
has to be at his best.
It's going to beat him.
I'm going to ask another question, Craig, as there's somebody else put in the chat. We talked about Bukestad and what he does in the locker room. If he doesn't get traded at the deadline, Do you think there's any possibility that he signs here?
Stay tuned. I'll be writing about all of this for Monday.
Really? About Nick
That
Bukestad?
will be a Diehards only piece. So
I'm
if
a
you really want to
diehard.
know the answers to this, you'll have to be a diehard. Become a
I'm a
diehard.
diehard. I got the jacket to prove it. And I can go, so I can read about Nick
Did you get your
Bukestad?
jacket? Did you get your jacket?
I did.
No.
Finally.
Finally.
How you were so
A week
giddy
after
saying
Craig.
that.
I know, because I get to read Nick Bukestad's story on Monday.
Love
Nick
it.
Bukestad coming on Monday. Michael Carcone coming tomorrow, and a deeper dive into Arizona hockey. It will be self-explanatory once the story comes out with what's happening this week in this arena.
Wow, I'm
You're
stoked,
all like,
Craig.
what?
Well, you
What?
said Arizona hockey, so I thought you meant like Arizona as in University of Arizona.
No, we're not talking about that. They don't have a hockey team.
They do have an ACHA Division
We're
One
not
hockey
going to get
team.
into it today.
ACHA. I
Not
love
today.
that ACHA
Kids.
Division 1, which is just code for club.
It is club.
You got a club team, whatever.
It is.
Wildcats, club
Kids.
hockey.
It is club.
Come on.
It's
Come
club.
on.
Look at Vaguely
Kitties.
Sober.
Kitties.
Vaguely sober. Another super chat. We appreciate you. PHNX crew. See you guys and gals next game. We appreciate
That was
to the
fun, DNVR.
DNVR fans in our chat. We really do appreciate you and love seeing also all the hashtag diehards in the chat.
Nice.
Chris said, got my jacket. Charles got his jacket. Love it.
Look at this.
I will say this, though, because it's not like me to complain, but I'm going to complain.
What?
I know. So I got the jacket. Love the jacket. Jacket's cool. Love it. Great. Can't wait to wear it. It's 70 freaking 5 today. Like, well, how am I gonna
Yeah.
like? So winter
But
was
not
last
the
week.
rest of the week. It's
Oh,
going to be cold
winter's
and
over.
rainy. No, it's
Winter
going to be.
is over, Leah. It's done. It was a week.
Look at the weather
Sorry, the rest of
tomorrow.
the country.
Look
but
at the weather
Arizona,
tomorrow.
Winter's over.
It's cold and rainy the rest of the week, and cold is relative. So sorry, I saw a few comments of people on the East Coast.
I know.
And
I
then
can't even wear a
Joel and
sweatshirt
Christina
here.
still in freaking
I know,
Hawaii.
but I can't even wear a sweatshirt here. That's how. Can I wear it to the game on Thursday? Is that yeah? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, we may be making. Well, Craig will obviously, but Petey and Sean and
There's
I
a rumor.
might be in the building on Thursday. Can't miss
We're
that
trying
one.
to persuade Austin Matthews to come with us for the post-game show.
Exactly. And as Roaring Fork reminds me, come home Austin chance happening Thursday. And he said against the Leaves. Yes, the Leaves.
Leaves. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Come on. You can't even spell correctly the nickname of your team. Come on. This might be on an upcoming podcast as well. Should we,
It may.
Should we promo that? Trolling
I
Toronto?
mean,
it's
coming tomorrow. If you just need some pack therapy about the Toronto Maple Leafs, tune into
We have
tomorrow's
something
podcast.
tomorrow.
Oh, buddy.
I swear to God, I have no idea. So send me an email. Did you send me an email?
I'll send you a fax so you to make
Send
sure
it on
you
my
get it.
beeper.
But first,
Send it
yeah,
on my
first send him the notification to his beeper. That's right. So he knows
Send
the
it to
fax
my
is
beeper.
coming.
Relocate the Leafs to Glendale. Heard there's an empty arena out there.
Petey, what's your AOL account? What is it?
Yeah, exactly. In my MySpace. You can find it on my MySpace. Go to
Oh,
AOL.
man.
Oh
Got my
Lord.
dial-up buzzing tonight.
Telegram, a pigeon. I'll
We got
send
a
the carrier
pop in
pigeon.
chat tonight, by the way. Wow.
I know it's actually
Great.
unreal. I can't even keep
And
up.
now
great.
Deef's jumped in too, so it's really buzzing. When the
Send
Deef
it
is
to
there.
Petey on a puzzle. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's genius.
I'm gonna get you a close up before the show's over.
Yeah, that thing is really bright. I want to know what's going on in that puzzle.
It is.
I
I will.
got to see it before I leave.
During Leah's ad reads, I'll pull it up.
Okay, well, let's talk about it now so you can pull it up.
Okay.
When we're giving the pitch to Austin Matthews, I will include a 6-pack. No, not a 6-pack. That's not enough. A 24-pack of Four Peaks beer. How about that? Sweeten the
Okay.
deal.
Wow,
And I
it's
know-
big. Sorry.
No,
God.
it is. That is, Petey, that is impressive.
It is.
Wow. And it's glued together?
Wow.
Yeah, we glue out.
It's glued.
We
Yes,
can hear
we
you.
glue our
All right.
puzzles
We
together.
should probably let Leah finish her ad read before
No,
we discuss
it's-
this puzzle a
I'll
little
just
more.
hold it
But
up during the
Yeah.
ad read.
Yeah, just hold it up during the ad read. And I know another selling point of living in Arizona, especially with this 75-degree weather the last couple days, is it's a great environment to play golf in. And that's exactly what we'll be doing on January 13th at 5:30 p.m. for the inaugural PHNX Tea Party presented by Four Peaks at Dobson Ranch. golf course. We're renting out the entire driving range. Come hang with Big Drive Energy, the PHNX crew, and fellow diehards for a night of golf, food, drinks, contests, prizes, and more. The PHNX Suns crew will be hosting a watch party for Suns vs. Timberwolves. Four Peaks will be out there providing beer, samples, and swag. Check the link in the description to reserve your spot right now. And for our diehards, check Discord for your special link where you'll save 20% on this awesome event. It is going to be so much fun. And beer samples and giveaways. What more can I say? What more can I truly say?
Well, you know what you can say is I didn't use this microphone the whole show until right now. I've been using and nobody told me. Nobody told me I didn't. I've been using the computer microphone.
At least you weren't like muttering under your breath, like when you thought you were
leaning into this microphone and it was over here. That's.
Oh, we could hear you fine.
I was fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. You're fine.
Not happy.
Not happy. Okay.
No.
Well, PD, we'll get you on Underdog Fantasy and win you some money so we can put you back in the happy column. It's super fun, super easy to use to play daily fantasy, and it's super easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. You can play daily fantasy and draft a team against 1 or 2, 3, 15 of your friends, or you can join public drafts. You can also play the pick'em game where you play higher or lower on player point totals, which is a really fun thing to do, especially if you're focused on watching one game. So in tonight, it could have been really fun to do. It just adds another layer of getting investment in the game. So check out Underdog Fantasy today. By the way, PD, the chat is counting your size. We are at 4.
Yeah, well, that was a frustrating one. That's my fault. I got to check the mic because I had my laptop downstairs watching the game.
It's okay. My Wi-Fi wasn't working 5 minutes before the show, and we recovered. So we're all just rolling with it.
4 is a low number, so it
is low.
A win.
That is pretty low for a win.
Yeah,
it is low.
We'll see how it goes on Thursday.
Craig,
I'm going. You know, I'm going to the game Thursday.
I had heard that. I had heard
for
that.
The jersey.
Oh, the jersey. Oh, and Craig, PD, we got the washcloth or the cloth.
I know. I saw it on the set.
The towel that Craig messed up on the set when the countdown was running yesterday.
It collapsed.
I literally set it up. Like, it looked fine, and Craig was like, it looks a little crooked. The countdown's going, and there's a wrinkle in the middle of it.
It got much worse. Yeah.
Okay, well, I saw it on this show.
I'm gonna stay out of set design from here on out. One note before I leave you guys tonight, I got to tell you what I saw as we were waiting to interview Andre Tourigny. So the way they do it here, we go into the annex, into the locker room actually to interview the players. Then we actually walk back out, and we go through the tunnels of the building to this area where they have the backdrop set up. I'm sure you guys see on camera all the time. As we're waiting for Andre, Jeff Sanders with their media relations department says, need everybody to clear out. In comes a gurney, 2 medical workers, and an Avs fan in an Avs jersey, like on the gurney.
No.
And as this guy goes past me, I am not kidding. I mean, this guy must have used beer for cologne because it was just coming out of his pores. And somebody told me, he fell somewhere in the arena and hurt himself because he's that drunk. And then Megan and Jesse walked past me a minute later. I said, you just missed it. It was the perfect metaphor for the Avs performance tonight.
Wow. Wow. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, hope he's okay.
Yeah, hey, he looked okay. He was giving
21
us the
and
thumbs
over.
up. He was happy.
Enjoy responsibly.
Enjoy responsibly. 21 and older only.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. All right, Craig. Well, we'll let you go, and we'll see you on the audio episode tomorrow. Can't wait.
Sounds good, guys. See ya.
All right. See you, Craig.
We'll see you Thursday.
Yes. All right. Well, let's look ahead at what's coming up.
Wow.
PD.
I know.
Why are you sighing?
Sorry, because I literally been putting my head to this and it was over.
It's okay.
It sounded fine. It did sound fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Chat, please validate PD. It sounded fine. Let's look ahead at the upcoming schedule for the Coyotes. We got Leafs Thursday. Check it, and then right back on the road they go Saturday against Tampa Bay, and then Florida next Tuesday, and then Philly, Chicago Thursday, Friday. 2 teams in that bottom mix. If you're gonna win it, or if you're gonna lose a game, it's got to be against Philly
It's
and
gotta be those
Chicago.
two.
It has to be. Beat Toronto. I think that it's kind of been a thing in the chat. Like, hey, let's get this win Thursday against Toronto. And then after Toronto, it's really time to buckle up. And I think, like we talked about with Craig, nobody's expecting 32nd now, but let's try and get in that bottom 3 mix. And it has to start now.
And we keep saying it, and I keep saying it. It's going to be this next stretch. They're going to struggle. On paper, they're going to Tampa. That first game is going to be really hard. I had telling DP, take Tampa. This one,
and it's a 3
travel
p.m.
day, 3
game.
p.m. Well, it's 5 o'clock.
Or 5,
3 p.m. here,
but
it's
still
3
early.
o'clock body sound. I'm just telling you, that's going to be a really hard game. I'd take Tampa on that one. And then they got Florida next. I know Florida's not playing their best hockey yet because they've got injuries too, but that's still a good hockey team and they're good at home. But you just don't know. Like, you just don't know. I think the losses are coming and they just don't. This team's, they've got something special, not special enough to make the playoffs, but special enough to not get last. So we'll see what happens in the week ahead.
Absolutely. And let's take a look at the punch card to see how many games they have left to accomplish this goal of losing. And, slowly but surely
we're slowly making it through this. We slowly are making it through this. It's actually not slow. It's going way faster than last year.
Remember going
how miserable
fast.
It was.
It was miserable.
The rebuild reminder.
Honestly, like Petey, we haven't even touched the wheel of fantasy.
I know,
It's collecting dust.
I know. Do you know how many people don't have any idea what the wheel of fantasy even is?
I know.
I guess that's good.
I mean, it is, but
yeah, maybe we'll pull it out on a live show, the wheel of fantasy, to give the people that missed out.
We can do it Thursday and then imagine a scenario with Austin Matthews and a Kachina.
Maybe we'll do it on Thursday in the studio. Let's pull out the wheel of fantasy on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We definitely should.
Okay.
Petey, any final notes from this one?
No, this one, to me, this was a full team effort, and you saw everybody on the same page, and you saw guys' individual efforts. And we talked about Carcone, Crouse, and Chychrun, and the 3 C's pulling together. But Goss Despair was right there, and they were able to silence guys like Rantanen and Makar and keep this one in the win column. I think this was a really, really solid team effort. Even there, we didn't talk much about Schmaltz and Keller, but they were sharp today too. I think this was a complete 20-man win. This was fun to watch. And I tell you what, the Mullett was rocking again. And I can't wait to see what it does against the Toronto Maple Leafs on Thursday. So big win for the Coyotes, and we'll see what they do with Austin Matthews.
We will see. Absolutely. There was a conversation in the Discord yesterday about food recommendations for outside of the arena. Yes. And I didn't get to chime in then, but I'm coming to you now. And I know it was Karen, and I see Karen here in the chat. I have 2. Okay. So if you're going to the game on Thursday or any Coyotes home game, I have 2 food recommendations. The first is Burrito Express. Walking and driving distance from Mullett Arena. Sean and the whole Sun Devils crew, absolute favorite place. And they hooked us up yesterday with some awesome burritos. Jesse actually had one when they had a horrible travel day. Jesse and Megan yesterday coming in from Denver. Jesse had a Burrito Express burrito yesterday. Loved it. Craig had one. Loved it. I've had them a bunch of times. They're just amazing. Check them out. They have locations all across the valley. Just absolutely delicious. And right now, when you buy a $25 Burrito Express gift card, you get a free burrito. I mean, sign me up. Head on over to your nearby Burrito Express location today. So that's number 1. Number 2, Illegal Pete's. Check it out. It's on Mill. Also driving distance from the arena, very close. They're right on Mill Ave. And they also have a cool deal for you right now. When you purchase $100 in gift cards, they'll throw you a $25 one on the house, and be on the lookout for a few informal happy hours with the PHNX Sun Devils crew. I love Illegal Pete's. I love their queso. They have a full bar in there with amazing margaritas as well. Just absolutely great food. So check them out. Both of those. Those are my food recommendations. And listen, Austin Matthews, you're not getting food like that in Toronto.
No.
Mexican food. Just saying.
And he's listening right now, I'm pretty sure.
He is. 100%. They just won in extra time against St. Louis.
And so he's dialed in.
He's totally. He needs to know.
For sure.
He's doing the scouting report
For sure.
for the Coyotes. Well, we appreciate everybody who was here watching live, watching or listening later. No matter what, we do appreciate you. Once again, like this button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts as well. And we'll be back with an audio only episode tomorrow. A little bit of fun on that one. So we hope you enjoy that as well. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Leah Merrill. He's at S. Peters Hockey. Craig is at Craig S. Morgan. Sean is at Sean_DePaz. Follow PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter and follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. And just a special shout out, shows DNVR Avalanche some love. They do great work, and we love our all-city peeps, even though CHGO Blackhawks are right where we want to be for that bottom spot. But we appreciate you all so much again for being here tonight, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Good night, everyone.